While Tuesday's primary election dominated the news this week, there was another story this week that could have a major impact on Florida.
The president announced a new trade deal with Mexico that he said would replace NAFTA.
It's an incredible deal. It's an incredible deal for both parties. Most importantly, it's an incredible deal for the workers and for the citizens of both countries. Our farmers are going to be so happy.
But Florida farmers are not happy with this new deal.
Yeah, let's bring in CBS 4's Jim DeFede to explain. And Jim, you spoke with Florida Senator Marco Rubio. What's his concern about this deal?
It's a number of things, you know, and Rubio's not the only senator to express concern. Bill Nelson has said the president threw Florida vegetable growers under the bus in his negotiations with Mexico. Okay, so what are we talking about? Most people don't realize that almost all of the tomatoes, corn, lettuce, and strawberries grown in the United States during the winter are grown in Florida, mostly in Miami-Dade and Palm Beach counties. The main competition for Florida growers comes from Mexico, which is growing the same crops at the same time of year. Now, critics charge that under NAFTA, Mexico has been able to exploit certain loopholes in the deal to gain an unfair advantage. The president had agreed to close those loopholes as part of any new deal with Mexico. But this week we learned that those loopholes remain. Here is Rubio's reaction and why this matters to more than just farmers.
Florida, winter vegetables. Mexico has done everything possible to destroy that industry.
How so?
Well, they undercut us. They flood us with cheaper alternatives.
Because our seasons are the same. So we're on the same cycle in terms of...
And it happens with strawberries and blueberries too, but particularly tomatoes, they dump. They basically dump tomatoes into our marketplace, undercutting the price point for our farmers and wiping them out. And if you care about the environment, think about what happens to that land if it's no longer about vegetables. What do you do with land, for example, in South Dade when it no longer is growing vegetables? Well, the next option is you develop it. And that means people move in, houses are built, fertilizer goes into the ground at heavy levels, much heavier than you could see in agriculture, and the impact that has on our water and so forth. So we can't lose agriculture. Second, we want to have an agriculture industry in Florida, and it's important for the country to be able to feed ourselves. And so if NAFTA and this deal does not treat our Florida farmers fairly, if it doesn't fix that injustice, I'm going to have a big problem with this deal.
In this deal that the president is striking with Mexico, it seems as if he was trying to do the best deal possible for auto manufacturing. That was the main impetus, and that he was willing to concede things in other areas. Do you sort of see that as the struggle that was going on here, that basically Florida farmers and growers were pitted against auto workers?
No, I mean, part of the problem was some of the other agriculture interests also turned on us. You know, the pork producers and corn, for them, Mexico is an export market. And so as long as their interests were protected and automakers' interests were protected, it kind of left us out in the cold. And we knew it would be a challenge the whole time. And they may not need our vote in order to get this thing reauthorized. But I'm going to have a big problem with the deal if it doesn't take care of Florida's farmers and bring some justice and fairness to that process. And frankly, I'll be deeply disappointed because it will have left behind a key group in an important state.
What's the response that you've gotten when you've tried to raise these issues with the negotiating team?
That Mexico paid a pretty hard line on it, and I'm sure they did. I mean, they got a pretty good deal. And that, you know, like I said, look, a Florida farmers' issues probably don't matter as much to Kansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Wyoming, all these other states in the country, but they matter in a very important state, and they matter to 2 senators in the U.S. Senate, and so we'll take that into account whenever the final deal is presented. But they know that this is going to be an impediment if they don't get it fixed, and if they need our vote and they need our support, I expect they'll address it somehow.
Just to give you an idea, let me just throw out 2 numbers at what's at stake here. Florida produces 100 million pounds of lettuce and 373 million ears of corn every year. So this is a vital area that involves a lot of our economy. Florida agriculture is next to tourism. That's the next biggest thing we have here. And when Mexico treats us unfairly, according to the critics, we've seen farmers after farmers go under because they can't keep up.
So is this a done deal?
It's not. You know, what we're seeing right now is that the Congress will have to approve this, so anything has to go through them. But more importantly, Congress has basically said that they're not interested in a U.S.-Mexico deal to replace NAFTA. They want a U.S.-Mexico-Canada deal. So while the negotiations are still going on, Rubio and Nelson are both pushing hard to try to have this issue reopened, saying, look, if you want our votes for this agreement to eventually work its way through the Senate, it also has to work its way through the House. You got to make these changes and protect Florida farmers.
What other changes are Senator Rubio and these growers looking for?
So let me just give you an idea, and it gets kind of technical and it gets kind of hard. But essentially, all Florida farmers are asking for, from what I'm being told, is that they want the right to be able to bring grievances when they think Mexico is cheating under the NAFTA agreement. And right now, the way the provisions are, it makes it very difficult for Florida farmers to bring a case to a group like the World Trade Organization or to the International Court to try to get their grievances resolved. They're not asking for, tariffs on Mexico. They agree with the free trade idea. They just want to see that when Mexico violates the agreement under NAFTA, that they can do something about it. And right now, their hands are being tied.
And you've also been reporting on the impact that the tariffs are having on lobster fishermen.
Yeah, so this is one of the great interesting parts of the Trump administration. I would guess that a lot of the farmers, as we saw with the lobster fishermen as well, were Donald Trump supporters. The China trade war that's going on right now has hurt very hardly, very badly, the lobster fishermen in the Florida Keys. Now this latest deal with regard to Mexico could hurt Florida farmers. One of the things I'll be looking for in the days and weeks to come is, do any of these groups who were supporting Donald Trump before begin to rethink their support and say, look, we're not happy. We're not winning the way we were told we were going to be. They're willing to put up with some sacrifice for the better good, but at some point it's going to affect their bottom line and their pocketbooks.
These trade deals are not simple. They're
not simple.
Very complicated. All right, Jim, thanks a lot. And be sure to wake up early for Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede. This week, Jim wraps up the Florida primary and talks more with Senator Marco Rubio about the results. That's Sunday at 8:30 right here on CBS 4.